May has come and gone, and it was full of some great Star Wars content. The 40th anniversary of A New Hope was celebrated around the world. This time next year, we will have experienced not only Episode 8, but also the new Han Solo film. For now, let's dive right on in and discuss the updates to the Star Wars canon timeline for May 2017. May was a big month for canon storytelling. We had the release of Guardians of the Whills, a story about Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe, Rebel Rising, a Jyn Erso backstory, Han and the Rebel Rescue, a children's adaptation of Smuggler's Run, Marvel's Rogue One adaptation issue number 2, Poe Dameron issue number 14, The Screaming Citadel, a crossover one-shot kicking off an arc spanning Star Wars and Dr. Aphra issues, Star Wars number 31, part 2 in the Screaming Citadel arc, Poe Dameron issue number 15, and finally, Dr. Aphra number 7, part 3 in the Screaming Citadel arc. Now, let us take a brief look at where each of these stories fits within the Star Wars canon timeline. We have to wait a bit before new pre-Episode 1 content comes back around. There are still more issues in the Darth Maul miniseries, but the next issue is not till the following month. Between 1 and 2, we have nothing new to report, but there is potentially new content on the horizon. We will touch on that a bit later, but for now, we press forward past Episode 3, into the time frame between Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith and 4 A New Hope. This month we got a handful of Rogue One-centric content. We first start with Rebel Rising. This covers the time from when Jyn Erso was left on Lamu, found by Saw Gerrera, all the way to the narrative of Rogue One. You get to see what happens to her over this time, and how her relationship with Saw Gerrera developed. We also got The Guardians of the Whills, another young adult book covering a period of time shortly before Rogue One. We follow Baze and Chirrut as they try to find their way in the holy city of Jeddah, which has been taken over by the Empire, and try to help out the citizens as much as they can. We find out the extent of contact and connection they have with Saw Gerrera's band of rebels, and how Baze got that massive gun. Marvel's Rogue One adaptation continues to impress. It is a very succinct retelling of the film, but they continue to manage to uncover a facet of the story or perspective that we did not know prior. I don't know why I find these fascinating, but we got the release of Han and the Rebel Rescue. This is a retelling of Smuggler's Run taking place between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. I generally make it a policy not to include picture books for very young readers, but the fact that they have adapted an original story, not a film or television episode for this type of medium, is very interesting. Keeping in this era, we also saw not 1, not 2, but 3 of the 5 issues in the Screaming Citadel crossover event between Star Wars and Dr. Aphra. Aphra finds Luke and takes him on a mission to figure out how to contact an ancient Jedi spirit, but the amount of double-crossing reaches new heights as everyone seems to have a plan of their own in this story arc. Finally, in the post-Return of the Jedi era, we have 2 new Poe Dameron issues. A new arc that has Poe pitted against his old nemesis, Agent Terex, but this time, the First Order has done a bit of mental rewiring so that Terex is no more than a puppet for Captain Phasma. I really enjoy how they are actually developing Poe into the character that we see him in The Force Awakens. Now to preview what is coming up this month. June is the month of Marvel comic releases for Star Wars. We begin with issue number 3 in the Rogue One adaptation. On the same day, we have the release of the new Darth Vader series, Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, taking place minutes after Anakin becomes the mechanical Vader we have all come to love to hate. On the following week, we have Star Wars number 32, Part 4 in the Screaming Citadel arc, Part 4 in the Darth Maul miniseries, number 2 in the new Darth Vader series, the first annual for Poe Dameron, Dr. Aphra number 8, the final issue in this crossover, and finally, Poe Dameron number 16. I also wanted to take a minute to review some of the news we have heard about Star Wars storytelling. Recently announced titles coming soon include an August release of a 40-page one-shot called Star Wars Rogue One, Cassian and K2SO. Also in August is Star Wars Jedi of the Republic, Mace Windu, a 5-issue miniseries featuring this famed Jedi just after the start of the Clone Wars. We also had the wonderful reveals from Star Wars Celebration, including Forces of Destiny, The Rise of a Hero, A New Perspective on A New Hope, BB-8 on the Run, a children's book telling us what happened to BB-8 after Poe got captured prior to finding Rey, Phasma, a new backstory on this character, Marvel's Captain Phasma, explaining how she survived the explosion of Starkiller Base, Leia, Princess of Alderaan, a new exploration of this character prior to A New Hope, and The Legends of Luke Skywalker, starting to fill in some of those gaps in his story. It's going to be one heck of a year. That concludes this update for May 2017, and as always, thank you for watching! Be sure to subscribe to keep up with all the insight and analysis found here at Star Wars The Canon Explained. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Leave your comments and questions about this story or any element of the Star Wars canon below. Till next time, may the Force be with you.